Now, what is a field watch? Well, a field watch is a watch that is strong, durable, has some sort of water resistance, normally made of steel. Essentially, it's a watch that can survive almost any climate. Now, a field watch, that is a term coined by the military because they were used in the field in World War II, whereas like trench watches were used in World War I. Well, I figured because I'm looking at a brand new field watch, might as well come out here in the middle of Alaska to talk about it. Now, for me and a lot of people who enjoy hiking, the outdoors, camping, bicycling, and just having fun outside, they always tell you when you're packing your gear to pack light. Keep that in mind as we move through the video, because this watch is extremely light. Now, being here in Alaska, I am surrounded by wilderness, mountains, and 650,000 square miles of wilderness. Now, keep that in mind. Texas in the United States is considered the largest state, but if I look at Alaska, which is a third the size of the United States, if I cut it in half, Texas would be the third largest state in the United States. Keep that in mind, Texans. Yeehaw. And on this channel, I primarily do watch reviews, affordable watch reviews. So I wanted to bring you guys an extremely affordable watch that can survive places like Alaska, where it can get -60 in Fairbanks in the winter or 100 degrees. It could flash flood right now, or it could snow. I mean, technically it's the fall season, but it's like 39 degrees outside. So you need something reliable, and for me, affordable. But today we're looking at the Boderry, and specifically the Voyager. It is their first field watch, and they did a damn good job designing it. It looks like a lot of other field watches, but it's really not. Now, I have reviewed their dive watch in the past, and it was a pretty good watch, full titanium dive watch, and it was very, very affordable, much like this one. Now, the Voyager comes in at 40 millimeters, which to me is always that perfect sweet spot for that medium-sized wrist. My wrist is 7 1/4, and it fits perfectly. And really what tells you how big a watch is the lug to lug, which is 48 millimeters. Anything under 50 millimeters is gonna be, like I said, perfect for most medium to small wrists. Now, it's not just the fact that it's a durable watch. They say a field watch should be 316L stainless steel watch, but this isn't stainless steel. This watch comes in at $130, and it is a full grade 2 titanium case, sandblasted. It looks absolutely beautiful. And not just that, but it also has a full sandblasted, full grade 2 titanium bracelet, which to me says a lot about a company. Now, this it does have an automatic movement. It's only an NH35, which really doesn't mean all that much. An NH35 is a workhorse from SeaGull. It's very reliable. It's very well known. It's very tough. It's in watches from $80 for the Invicta ProMaster Diver, or $400 in micro brand watches. So for a watch that comes in at $130, full titanium, has a sapphire crystal covering what I think is a beautiful, simplistic dial. The dial itself is a matte black. The indices are done very well, pops out just like they should, has syringe hands for the hour hand and the minute hand, and it also has a lovely lollipop second hand that's tipped in red. Now, one of the things that I really love about companies who look at detail when it comes to watches is something like the date. If you put the date down at the 4 o'clock position, which a lot of companies do, they never have it lined perfectly. But if you look down between the 3 and the 5 on the indices, you can see that date window is perfectly centered where the 4 indice would be, which to me is an attention to detail that most people don't have. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that when you go camping, when you go hiking, one of the rule of thumbs is to pack light. And this watch does disappear on your wrist. With the grade 2 titanium, it's 25 to 30% lighter than a stainless steel watch. And then if you replace the bracelet with something like a NATO strap, it weighs almost nothing. And honestly, right now, me just lugging my body up this trail, I wish I was slightly lighter myself. Now, like any watch, somebody can nitpick every single thing about it. Now, when I did the macro shots, I was pretty surprised just how high the quality control was. I found no imperfections on it at all. The loom was done very nicely. The hands are done very nicely. Now, the hands on the hour hand was slightly rough on the edges, and I'm not a big fan of the pressed titanium clasp that's on the bracelet, but that can be forgived when you look at everything else that comes with it. And I think that's really what it comes down to when it comes to affordable watches. It's understanding what a company can do and can't do, and then giving them props for being able to give you something at an affordable price that beats out almost anything that I was able to find on the market for a field watch. Now, a lot of people would say, hey Chase, I love Hamilton field watches, and Hamilton field watches are great. They're great Swiss-made watches. They're affordable at $300 to $400 for a manual wind. I mean, that's a pretty great watch, but if you don't have $300 or $400, what are your options? Well, a $140 solid titanium automatic watch with a sapphire crystal is a pretty damn good deal. Well, if you ask me. Now that I found a spot to sit down, let's just talk about it a little bit more. One of the things that I love the most about the Voyager is the fact that titanium is sandblasted and it gives a very subdued finish. It's not overly done, and the sandblasting finish on it is perfect. There's no imperfections. Now, a lot of people are going to say that titanium, though it is stronger and lighter, scratches easier. That's absolutely the case. Now, if you look at this watch right here, I've only been wearing it for a week, and you can already see the bracelet is starting to scratch up. With that being said, that's really not a big deal. That's any watch. I can tell you that for someone like me, who's a police officer, loves the outdoors, loves to get rough and dirty and tumble around, I can tell you that the one thing I want is a tough watch. And the fact that this comes with not only a titanium case, not only a sapphire crystal, not only a workhorse automatic movement that is extremely easy to service, easy to replace even if you wanted to. I think an NH35A is something like $20 for a movement, and I've done plenty of repairs on this channel where the movements are very easy to take out, the hands are very easy to take off, things are easy to replace, and there's 1,000 other videos out there if you want to replace it yourself. So now you can replace the movement for $20. You don't even have to get it serviced, and you can keep the toughness of the watch. It also boasts 100 meters of water resistance, which to me is extremely surprising for a field watch. Most field watches minimum are 50 meters, and it is nice when they are 100 meters. Now, this does have a beautiful knurled screw down crown at that 4 o'clock position, and because it's at that 4 o'clock position, it has a crown guard that slopes up very beautifully, right? The watch flows quite nicely. Now, they're not the first one to create this type of watch, but they have kind of perfected it, and they've looked at little things to include like the bezel. The bezel is slightly raised above the sapphire crystal because everybody knows that though sapphire crystal is scratch resistant, it can shatter on impact. But if you look at the Boderry at an angle here, you can see that, well, the bezel is slightly raised. So if you drop the watch on a flat surface, the bezels are what's going to take the impact, not the sapphire. So it's protecting it, but it's not overly done. Now, I could say a lot about this watch, and you could disagree or agree with me. It's really up to you. I love field watches, and for me, I think that if you're going to go with something that's a field watch, you might as well go with something like this Boderry because you're getting a lot for your money. I want you guys in the comments, if you've made it this far, you guys down in the comments, I want you to put a watch that you think is comparable or better at a very close price point to this Boderry field watch. Leave it down below. Remember, full titanium grade 2 case, full titanium bracelet, the clasp. Yeah, it is pressed. It does have 3 micro adjustments. Fits my wrist just fine. Sapphire crystal, I think I already said that. Almost perfect dial. And 100 meters of water resistance. I'd love to hear it down below. And if you like videos like this, I plan on getting outdoors as much as I possibly can, change up the scenery a little bit. I am redoing the studio, or I'm upgrading it even more, so I figured it'd be better to come out here in the middle of nowhere. I hope you enjoyed the video. Link down below for Boderry for the Voyager Field Watch. You know, it's great for any environment. It doesn't matter if you're in the snow, on an island, surrounded by ocean somewhere, or in the desert. This watch is going to hold up. So I'll see you guys in the next one.